Good evening, good evening. Hey, Sierra. I guess it's just going to be me and you today. No worries. Tonight's not going to be a long one. We're going to do discussion on having pride in yourself. Let me get you the survey link. Okay. There we go. That's the survey link. But without further ado, let me go ahead and get started. It's not going to be long. If somebody else wants to jump in, that's perfectly fine. You know, if not, that's perfectly fine as well. I will give you the best presentation ever. Beginning. All right, having pride in yourself. And we are doing a poll EV tonight too, and I posted the link in the chat box. So if you want to go ahead and click on that and then answer the question and get that one, that's good. And as always, I have to tell you who I am, even though you know. But who is Dr. Bridget King? Personally, I am a 34-year resident of Duncanville, Texas. I have lived in the 800 Link community for 18 years, and I am a wife and a mother. Educationally, I'm a graduate of Duncanville High School. I have an associate's degree in liberal arts from El Centro College, a bachelor's degree in psychology from University of Texas at the Permian Basin, a master's degree in organizational management from the University of Phoenix, and an education doctorate in sports management from North Central University. I have 25 years working in corporate America in various industries, 12 years working in higher education, teaching business, management, leadership, human resources, social sciences, humanities, motivation, and professional development courses. I'm a 12 years grassroots girls basketball coach for the Lady Panthers Girls Basketball Association. I have 12 years working as a parent volunteer for Duncanville ISD. I have served as both president and vice president of PTA. I've served in various roles for various sports leagues in the DFW Metroplex, and I'm proud to say that I'm a leader of a National Youth Sports Strategy Champion Federal Program team, which is also the Lady Panthers Girls Basketball Association. And as always, what TI Community's Pillars does its presentation focus on, and every week it will always be community and education. Both foundation, you know, if I add something else, that's fine, but it will always be education and community. And so who does presentation benefit? This presentation will benefit anyone seeking to increase their selves, esteem, confidence, determination, and assurance. That's supposed to be a period. I always find a typo in my stuff, but no worries. But the presentation will benefit anyone seeking to increase their selves, and that's self-esteem, self-confidence, self-determination, and self-assurance. And hey, Sheila, oh, ladies, do me a favor and type your names in the box. And Sierra, do me a favor and copy and paste both of those links so Sheila can see them. One is for poll everywhere, Sheila, and the other one is for the presentation survey. And I just started. I'm on the who does this presentation benefit, so you haven't missed anything. And so here's the poll EV question for the night, ladies. Did you have or do you have positive pride in yourself? I had actually changed that question mid-sentence. So it says, did you have positive pride in yourself? But it's really, do you have positive pride in yourself? And you can answer yes, no, or sometimes. It's up to you. I opted to do this type of poll tonight instead of doing the word cloud thing to see how it works. And it's two of you, so I see 100% yes. Thank you. Awesome. It's great to have positive pride in yourself. And so what is pride? The definition of pride is a high or inordinate opinion of one's own dignity, importance, merit, or superiority, whether as cherished in the mind or as displayed in bearing, and bearing means how one carries themselves in their conduct, etc. And if you look at the picture over to the right, take pride in how far you have come and have faith in how far you can go. That's pretty much, you know, when we hear a lot about pride and you hear people talk about pride, a lot of times it's in a negative manner. You know, people, you know, she's too proud that she can't ask someone to help her, or, you know, he has too much pride, he's too prideful. Pride can become a negative thing if it's not done the right way. And we'll talk about that in just a second about being both healthy and unhealthy pride. But the definition of pride is just basically how one views themselves. And based on how they view themselves, how do they carry themselves? And if you see at the bottom, it says pride is an intrinsic thing. That's within you. That's where the self's coming from, having self-confidence, self-determination, self-preservation, perseverance. All of those things are rooted in healthy pride, but they can also be rooted in, be a result of unhealthy pride too, if you don't do it correctly. And we'll discuss that in just a second. And this is really not a long presentation tonight, ladies. So I'm not even sure how long this presentation is going to last, but we'll talk about it, and go from there. But what is healthy pride? And healthy pride is what we want. And let's look at the picture on the right side first. I'm moving around my box so I can see. So the picture on the right says pride isn't cultivated. If pride comes from a balanced view that can also respect the best in others, it stokes the inner fires that fuels us to great accomplishments. That's healthy pride. And we'll talk more about that in a second as we look at the left side box. So healthy pride is having self-confidence, reflecting an intrinsically motivating can-do attitude. That's positivity. That's, and that doesn't mean that you're always positive like Barney. It just means that more often than not, you see the silver lining in something. You see where somebody may see something negative, you see the positive that can come out of something, or yourself. You may see somebody may say, well, she may can't do that, or he may can't do that. And you're like, just watch me. It's that intrinsic motivation. It's you are stoking your own fire to say, I can do this. You don't need somebody to pat yourself on the back. You don't need somebody, you don't need accolades. You remember the extrinsic accolades we talked about last week and week before last? All of that comes from in here. You're telling yourself, I can do this. And then it represents a positive notion of self-worth, and it's based on a history where personal effort and expenditure of energy leads to success. In layman's term, when you put in the work, you're successful at what you're doing. And, I'm a sports coach, so I can, equate this to basketball. It's hard. I tell players all the time, it's hard not to be a good basketball player when you're investing time to be a good basketball player. And that's what that means. When you put in a history of personal effort and an expenditure of energy, that just means you are investing time into bettering yourself. That leads to healthy pride, because it means you're getting better, and getting better boosts your confidence. Boosting your confidence makes you want to do something better. Doing better makes you boost your pride. It's cyclical. So that history of working hard to better yourself, that's where the healthy pride comes from. Hey, I can do this. Hey, I've done this. Hey, what else can I do? See how that goes? And then pride, it's a quiet, self-assured affirmation of one's capabilities. Some people are loud, everything they do, they have to let somebody know they've done it, or like they say, the loudest one in the room is the one with the least self-confidence. People that have healthy pride, they don't have to, it's that sit back and I don't have to tell people. Or when stuff does happen, they wait until after it's done and then they announce it. They're not telling you every step of the way what's going on. They wait until the deal has been done, the accolade has been won, the degree has been earned, the game has been won before they say anything. It's quiet, self-assured, self-confidence affirmation in your ability to be successful. Another thing about healthy pride, it's not about comparing oneself to others. That's where unhealthy pride comes from. You're not doing anything to try to one up somebody else. The only person you're in competition with is yourself. How can I be a better person tomorrow than I am today? What did I do today to make myself a better person today than I was yesterday? That's what healthy pride is. The only person you're competing with is yourself. At the point that you start competing with others, that's unhealthy pride, and we'll get to that next. Another thing about healthy pride, it's authentic. Nobody can look at you and say, she fake or he's fake. Everything that you're doing, the authenticity of it oozes out of you. You're doing it because the pride of self is self. You're just trying to better yourself, and you have goals. Remember, I told you all of my presentations some kind of way are going to tie into each other. All of this is about setting personal and professional goals for yourself and achieving them. And when you have healthy pride, it gives you that motivation to be authentic, because the only person you are trying to impress is yourself. Other people are going to see your successes, but you're not doing anything to be, to impress them. It is not even about impressing other people. The only person you're trying to impress is the person in the mirror. Something else about healthy pride, it motivates and inspires others. So when other people see you doing something and they see you excelling at it and being successful at it, and you love what you're doing, there is something authentic when somebody's passionate about something. You can always tell when somebody is passionate about something or they're just doing it, say, for the money. Those are two entirely levels of people. They may be doing the same thing, but you're going to see the difference. With healthy pride, did somebody say something? Yes, not. With healthy pride, you're going to see that motivation and that inspiration is going to pour out of that person like sweat, like, stink. It's just, you're going to they're going to ooze just confidence and everything that they're doing. Other people are sitting back watching and like, hey, if they can do it, then that means I can do it too, right? That's what that's about. And so then the last thing, healthy pride takes pride. People take pride in their successes as well as helps others celebrate their own successes. So like I said, it's not about you being in competition with another person. It's about you saying, hey, if I can do this, you can do this too. So let's do this together. How help me help you. How can I help you do better? And how can you help me do better? And together, let's rise. That's healthy pride. Unhealthy pride is, I'm going to help you, but as long as what you're doing doesn't allow you to do better than how I'm doing. We see that all the time with people. People only help you as long as what you're doing doesn't overshadow what they're doing. That's unhealthy pride. Healthy pride is, let's rise together. There's more than enough time and more than enough room for everybody to shine. People equate it to money. There's enough money for everybody. You can apply it to anything: jobs, schools, sports, personal life. There's more than enough for everybody to go around. So help me help you, then you can help me, and let's both rise. That's healthy pride. And so as what the picture says, it stokes the inner fires that fuels us to great accomplishments. But if pride comes from a balanced view that can also respect the best in others, you're not in competition with anybody. You're only in competition with yourself, and being in competition with yourself will inspire someone else, hopefully, to be in competition with themselves. And together you're both, rising to the top. That's healthy pride. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have unhealthy pride. And so as the box says, in general, pride is at the bottom of all great mistakes. And this where I said, remember earlier I said, most often when we talk about pride is negative, somebody being too proud to do something, or they're too proud to ask for help. That's kind of what that means. You allow your self-pride to cause you to just, it leads to destruction if you don't do it right, and it's unhealthy. And so with unhealthy pride, the picture of a person that's displaying unhealthy pride is the following on the left side. They're seeking intrinsic validation to the point where others' opinions matter more. People that have unhealthy pride, they're concerned with how other people think about them. They're always asking other people, how do I look? Do you think I'm smart? Do you think I'm pretty? Stuff like that. You're worried about accolades and extrinsic, somebody patting you on your head, versus having intrinsic, hyping yourself up. Intrinsic accolades, you can still get accolades, but it has to come from yourself. You have to be your one-man hype show. My daughter laughs at me all the time because I am always hyping myself up. It's not narcissism. I'm not being arrogant. It's just that I don't need someone else to tell me I'm doing a good job. When you learn to impress yourself and you're learning to do for yourself, you don't need somebody else to tell you you're doing a good job. I can look in the mirror and say, girl, you are the bomb. Why? Because I work on myself to be able to say that. So you have to be able to know that you can talk to yourself and hype yourself up, and it's not being arrogant, it's not being conceited. Time in yourself to be successful in any capacity, you have the right to hype yourself up. So unhealthy people are looking for accolades from others. They need others to pat them on the back and pat them on the head and say, hey, you're doing a good job. Healthy people that practice healthy pride, they don't need that. They do that for themselves. Another thing for unhealthy pride is overvaluing one's work, inflated sense of worth, and easily punctured by criticism. Unhealthy people are arrogant, they're narcissists, and when you say something to them, they are easily, it hurts their pride. You know, they're punctured by criticism. When you say something to them, like you tell them, you know, you could have done better. You know, you did good on this paper, but you could have done better. That's criticism to them. You know, they got a B, but you said, hey, if you would have spent a little time doing this, you could have gotten an A. They will take that to heart and get really angry. It's a criticism. You're trying to give them healthy criticism. They're taking it as unhealthy, and they get mad because in their mind, anything they do is top notch. That's fine. Remember, I said there's a fine line between healthy and unhealthy. You can value yourself, but when you're over inflating that sense of value, which means you are, you know, egotistical, you know, you think that you're God's gift to whatever, that's where you're now starting to overvalue and you're tripping. In other words, another thing, displaying mediocrity unless someone of value is paying attention or watching. I see a lot of this in basketball. You know, kids don't play hard unless certain people are in the gym. You know, especially when it's a kid that's considered elite and, you know, they're trying to get an athletic scholarship and they know that a certain recruit from a certain school is going to be there. You know, they can go their hardest. You know, they can play good. You've seen them play good, but because, you know, there's nobody in the gym that they consider of value watching them, they're just going to give you mediocre ball. Now, granted, that mediocre ball may still be better than most, but you've seen them go harder. So these are the people that only do well when there's somebody giving them accolades. Unhealthy pride. Also, they look down on others. They're always negative towards someone else. They're always, you know, oh, she cute, but, you know, or, you know, he did this, but, you know, their house is good, but I've seen better. That's unhealthy pride. You know, they car is cool, but my car better. You know, her hair is cute, but, you know, my weed better. You know, that's what they call hating. Yeah, looking down on others. So then comparing oneself to others' accomplishments, trying to outdo others. Like I said, most people only want to help you as long as what they're helping you do does not overshadow them or outshine them. It's unhealthy pride. They're comparing your successes to theirs so they can always one up you. You know, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there like that. And that's because without those titles behind their name, without that money in the bank account, without all the materialistic things around them, they're nothing. So the whole point of pride is to know that when you're at your lowest, you are still at your best. When you're at your highest, you're even better. Unhealthy pride, people that practice unhealthy pride, they can't see that because their whole life is built around things that can be easily taken. And when those things are not there, they don't have anything. They don't even have themselves. They don't even love themselves enough to know that just being themselves is enough. So they always compare themselves to other people to see what they can do to be better. Now, as an athlete, that can go both ways because athletes push each other. You know, your best friend, you know, you to a shooting guard, she may have hit 20. So now you got to, you know, or maybe try to do more. That's healthy pride. That's healthy pride because you're pushing each other to get better. Remember, you're going to push somebody else. You should be able to push somebody and inspire them to get better. They should be able to do the same thing with you. Where the problem comes in is if, say, your best friend is scoring 20 points and she became the MVP of the game, and now you're jealous. So the next week you got to go out and score 30 points so your name can be in the pictures, in the papers. That's unhealthy pride. Now that's jealousy. You can't be happy for your friend because now you're trying to outdo her because she was in the paper. She won MVP of the game. Now you're jealous because now you want your name in the paper. You want people talking about you. So now you have to go out and score 30 points, not only get your name in the paper, but now you want to outshine her and make her look bad. That's unhealthy pride. That's where that fine line has now been overstepped. You're no longer trying to push each other. Now you're trying to outdo her or him. Same with boys. And boys do it a lot as well. And then being narcissistic and coveting your success. That's pretty much unhealthy pride all day long. Everything is about you. It doesn't, you know, everything is about you. I don't care if you're having a conversation with somebody, it always comes back to you. Grades, material things, you know, relationships, everything is about you. You are the center of attention and you covet everything. You know what covet means? Covet means, you know, you're treasuring these things, but a lot of times those are things that somebody can easily take away, and that's the problem. A lot of things that people covet are things that someone else can easily take away. That's why when you do things, you have to make sure that you're not only looking at the outcome. You know how they say a means to an end? The end is not always what you're looking for. Sometimes it's the journey and the means to get to the end. If the only thing you do is covet the end, which is the result, which is the trophy or the house or the car or the degree or the job title, those are the ends. But if you don't, celebrate the successes of what it took to work hard to get that trophy, get that house, get that degree, get that car, whatever, then that's where unhealthy pride comes in. And then unhealthy people are also antagonistic. They're antisocial, and they display rule breaking behaviors. Some people consider it being, they're a rebel. It seems fun until that rebel attitude is directed towards you, turned towards you. They're negative. You say the sky's blue, they say the sky's green. You say the car is red, they tell you it's yellow. You say it's wet, no, it's dry. They find every reason. Everything is a battle. They can never agree with anybody because all they want to do is be negative towards everything. And most often because of that, they have to be antisocial because nobody wants to be around them. They're not being invited to any parties and to dinner or girls' nights or, hanging with the fellas because nobody wants to be around a person like that. And so that causes them to do things like display rule breaking behavior, because now they're mad. Their pride is hurt. Remember, punctured by criticism? They're mad because they're not the center of attention, which causes them to display rule-breaking behavior. Now they have to go out and do something to cause the attention to come back to them. You see how that whole cycle of craziness goes? That's what it is. So they're mad because they're always negative about something, which leads to people not wanting to be around them. So now they're antisocial because nobody's talking to them. And then that leads them to doing things to get attention, and unfortunately it happens. And another thing about unhealthy people, they are fake. Everything is grandiose. They're going, what does people say, suchy much? You're over the top. That's pretty much unhealthy pride. They want to, you can't just have a birthday party. You have to have a birthday party and go out and spend $30,000 to just have a party. That's not even about you anymore. You're trying to impress other people. You can't just go to dinner. Now you have to go to dinner and order a lobster and a steak and spend $300 on this because you're trying to impress someone. You're being fake. You're going over. You're being suchy much. That's unhealthy pride. And then another thing about unhealthy pride is jealousy of others' success that leads to a competitive nature. Remember, I was talking about the friend, the 20 points, and now she has to score 30 points. That happens on the job. Somebody gets an award, they may win top salesperson for the month. And now, everybody else is being pushed. This person won top salesperson. What can y'all do? That's one thing about sales that I don't like, because you're trying to have a healthy competition, but now it becomes unhealthy because what ends up happening is people start to do unethical things because they can't hit those sales. So now they start inflating numbers, and now they start lying, and they start doing things to make their numbers look a certain way. Now you're doing some illegal. Unhealthy pride all goes together. You're jealous of somebody else doing better than you. And even though your boss or your friend or somebody is trying to push you, they're not going about it the right way, and it leads you to do something wrong, rule breaking behavior. So that's unhealthy pride. And so what to display positive pride? Students, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, best friends, athletes, entertainers, educators, employers, or an organization member. Any role in life, anybody can display positive pride. Who can display negative pride? Students, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, best friends, athletes, entertainers, educators, employers, organizational members or leaders, and so on and so forth. So as you see, the roles are the same. The pride that you display in your actions and behaviors is based on you and this. What are you doing? Who are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it for anybody other than yourself, about 99.999% of the time, it's unhealthy pride, because it's not about you trying to make your life better. You're doing everything to impress other people. You're doing everything to try to outdo somebody else. You're doing everything to one up somebody. That's whether your role or the hat that you wear in life is, that pride is positive or negative, depends on your why. Why are you doing it? Everything has a why to it. And in this instance, your why is going to lead you to either be positively prideful or negatively prideful. And you may start out being positive, but if you don't every now and then check yourself and check your why, you'll find yourself moving over to the dark side. And you got to say, hey, I could do this, but that's not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this for this reason. As a basketball coach, I struggle with that, because there are things that I can do. I see other programs making all of this money and doing all of these things, but I also know how they did it, and I also know why they did it. That's not what I want for my program. There are things that we may do without because we're not going about it the right way. But guess what? We've been around for 10 years, almost 11 years, where other programs have folded or been absorbed into even bigger programs. I refuse to let that happen for myself, and I want to be a better leader for my players. So yeah, there are things that I can do as a program leader, program owner, that could be negative, that will result in more money, more players, but it's not me. I want to be a positive servant leader. I want to do things ethically, professionally, do right by my players. And so in order for me to do that, I have to always check myself and say, why are you doing this? And are you doing this for the right reason? And that's pretty much how I stay on that positive side of pride. Because it gets hard sometimes, you see people doing things and you're like, we should be doing it. My girl should be doing that. But at the end of the day, I also know the lives that were destroyed to make those things happen. Kids are used up all the time in sports. I don't want to be a coach to do that. I don't ever want somebody to look at me and say, she's the one that destroyed this girl's love for the game, or she's the one that destroyed this kid's love for the game, or just love of sports, period. So that's my check myself to keep myself on the positive side of pride. And so the point of pride is, and like I said, it's not long tonight at all. We're almost done, and we're running up on 7:30. The point of pride is the ability to better yourself while also helping others to better themselves is the foundation of pride. Positive pride. When it becomes solely about being better than others to the point where it becomes about competition and only helping others as long as they do not do better than you, that is what categorizes unhealthy pride. If you're doing it just to one up somebody or to make them look, trying to make them look better, yourself look better than somebody else, that's no longer healthy pride. But knowing that your ability to excel has nothing to do with another's ability to do the same, i.e., there's room for everybody to shine, this is categorized as healthy pride. Nothing you do affects someone else. Nothing someone else does affects you. We can both rise. We can all rise. Most people will tell you with leadership, you don't do anything by yourself. No leader has ever accomplished much alone. And if they have, there's something wrong there, because normally to rise, it requires a healthy support system. So everybody should have room to shine. I always want to see my coaches do good. I don't ever accept, awards by myself. I always accept an award. It may have my name on it, but it's on behalf of myself and my coaches. And sometimes I just want to sit back and see them shine. And I'm okay with that. I love it. If I'm doing something, they're doing something. That's healthy pride, and that's what you want. You should know that everybody's able to rise together. This is not a competition. Life is too short for all of that. So the question is, which pride do you subscribe to? Are you about trying to make sure nobody does better than you, or are you about trying to make sure that everybody rises with you? Because that's really the point. Are you trying to outdo them, or are you want to make sure they rise with you? Which pride do you subscribe to? And you have to check yourself on that all the time. Because like I said, sometimes you can do stuff with the right intentions and it'll still lead over to being negative and going over to the dark side. So you have to be careful with always paying attention to your why. Why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? If I do this, what's the result? Like I said, it's not always about the ends, it's sometimes about the means. And if you go about it the right way and handle the means the right way, the end may take a little longer to come to, but when you get there, you knew you did it for the right reasons, and you can look at yourself in the mirror. You know, some people get so dark that they can look at themselves in the mirror, but they are so distorted in what they see that now they're trying to justify why they're doing unhealthy things. That's not what you want. Which pride do you subscribe to? Hopefully it's always healthy pride. So the summary, like I said, is pride is having a high opinion of oneself. Pride can be both healthy and unhealthy. Healthy pride is about having intrinsic validation. I left validation out. Is about having self-confidence, is a self-assured affirmation, and it's authentic. You are looking within yourself, telling yourself, I can do this. You can do this. You have everything you need within you to do this. Girl, you are working on that degree. You are acquiring the skills that you need. You know, homeboy, you rising. You know, you getting up every day, going to work. You know, with everything that's going on in the world, you are still able to get up and hold your head up high. You know, you have to be able to do that for yourself. You have that self-assurance that no matter what is going on, you're going to be okay. You know, there are some things, you know, everybody has a breaking point. Yes, we do. But for the most part, you can bend, but you never break. That's that self-assurance to know that you have everything within you and everything within you in your head, in your brain, to know that you may bend every now and then, but everything is a lesson for you instead of, you know, like they say, everything's a lesson learned. You may bend, but you're never going to break, and you're authentic in what you're doing. You're not trying to be fake. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're truly trying to better yourself because that's what you're trying to do. Unhealthy pride is about seeking extrinsic validation. It entails narcissism and comparing oneself to others, and is fake and grandiose. You're waiting for somebody to tell you job, you know, well done, job well done, you know, patting you on your head, which leads you to now having an overinflated sense of self, you know, and then you start comparing yourself to them. Well, if they do this, then I can do this. You know, she did this, I should be able to do better. You know, he all right, you know, he good, but he all right, you know, and then that leads you to, you can't just have an outfit on. Now you got to go buy a $200 shirt and some $400 jeans and some $300 shoes, when you could have still gone over here to, you know, to JC Penney's or dealers and got a $20 shirt and some $30 jeans and wore some $50 shoes, whatever. So once again, what are you subscribing to, and which pride do you subscribe to? And then living life, roles can be both healthy or unhealthy depending on the reasoning for why are you doing this? Why? What are you hoping to achieve? What are you hoping to, what's the journey? What is the point of this? Those are things that you have to ask yourself to keep yourself balanced, to keep yourself, and actually you want to be balanced when dealing with other people, but you want to stay unbalanced to where your pride is healthy pride and unhealthy pride is on the low end. So you don't want balanced pride. You kind of want healthy pride, unhealthy pride. And so the point is to live with healthy pride. It's hard. Life is hard, and there are things that go on in life that will make you, you know, can I do this and get away with it? You know, there are situations in life where things will happen and cause you to question who you are. You may lose your job, lose your, you know, your livelihood. You may lose your car, you know, lose your home. And there are things that you may have to consider doing just to survive. It's hard. You know, I can't even tell you myself that if something was to happen that I could stay, you know, on the healthy pride side. All I can say is I can try, because you never know a situation. You know, you may lose a loved one and something happens. You know, it's one of those, you try to stay, you know, but there's a tug. You know, there's a tug that, you know, you have to say, hey, why am I doing this? You know, and like I said, pride comes before a fall. Are you too proud to ask for help? I've been there. You know, it's hard to ask people for help. Sometimes you have to, though. You know, I've learned it for myself. So it's like the point is to live with healthy pride, but it doesn't mean that every day is going to be healthy. Every second is going to be healthy. From 5 minutes to the next, healthy can go from unhealthy to healthy real good, and healthy to unhealthy real quick. You know, the point is to try to stay on the healthy side of pride. Okay. And so references, I only have 2 of them. If anybody ever wants to know where I got this information from, I never try to get, take credit for somebody's work. I have my own work that I do, but I don't ever want to plagiarize anybody's work. And so does anybody have any questions, ladies? Do either one of you have a question of anything? I don't see any questions, but as always, you can email me, call me, or whatever if you have a question. And so next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So, and I still have to work next week. So next week's presentation will be on next Tuesday night. And it is about teens and their brains. That's going to be fun. I'm going to have to take this weekend, or actually Monday. I'll be busy this weekend. We have to work on this tomorrow and Monday and get this presentation set up. But it's teens and their brains. That's next Tuesday's presentation. I've already emailed everyone their sent them their invitation. I'm sorry, I went blank for a minute looking at my phone. So teens and their brains next Tuesday at 7 on Zoom. And then as always, thank you for watching, and don't let me close the chat box. I need to take a picture before I forget and not take my picture of y'all. Let me go ahead and take the picture now. There we go. But as always, if you need me, you can, you ladies know me, you know how to get in contact with me, but email me at 800educatorcommunities.com, and then www.facebook.com/Dr. Bridget M. King, EDD. And that is all with the presentation that for tonight. Let me end the screen sharing and go back to Zoom. Do you ladies have any questions on anything? Like I said, this was a quick presentation tonight, 7:40, and we are almost done. I want to thank you both for coming. Let me take another picture again, just in case that picture doesn't come out. But thank you both for coming. We missing Sister Thompson tonight. I don't know where she is, but oh well. Thank you for coming. You can always be anywhere, and you chose to spend this evening with me, and I love you for it. And I will see you ladies hopefully on Tuesday. Thank you so much, and I will talk with you later. Bye-bye.